The heck is up, you guys? Animated Heroes here, back with another video for you guys. And as you can see, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, honestly, this is a video I really hoped that I was never going to have to do. I had it in mind for quite some time now, and I just never got around to it because honestly, I hoped it would never come to it. But that being said, as you can see, we are here with the video. I am making it, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I think Tamashii Nations failed the Naruto line. Agree or disagree, this is all opinion based, so it doesn't really matter. You guys feel free to say how you feel in the comments after you watch this video. Now that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Just a friendly reminder from your boy Animated Heroes, don't forget to check out my boys at Sculptimo Toys for the best figures, best prices, and fastest shipping if you guys haven't already. Let's get into it. Now, I didn't go through extensive research to do this video, and I'm not going to. I'm pretty much just going to go based off what I remember, and I do know for a fact that these were two of the first figures released, with Naruto, of course, being the very first one. Now, they started off bad with this one for several reasons, and quite honestly, I'm going to say when I first got these, I was excited. I enjoyed these figures probably more than anyone else because Naruto is my favorite anime, so I was just excited to have them in my collection. Now that being said, that doesn't mean that these figures didn't come plagued with problems. Some people see as much bigger problems than others. The first complaint that I heard when Naruto came out was that the face did not capture the character enough. It looked too bland, it looked too off, and the hair sculpt wasn't the best either. Which, I mean, I kind of understand. It doesn't look the best, but to me, it wasn't half bad. I know a lot of people hated it, but I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. It's just kind of to me, but it will work in my collection, and I never had problems having this figure posed next to others. I didn't think it looked off or anything, so I liked it personally. But one thing that everyone hated that I kind of agreed with was the shoulder articulation. This was when they first invented this design where the sleeve kind of comes up to the shoulder, and it restricted all kinds of frontal movements because every time you wanted to move the arm back, you'd have to adjust this piece right here to match the socket, and so it would just like be a pain to get him in certain poses. So that I agree with. But other than that, I don't think I heard too many complaints about Naruto. The sculpt looks fine. Design-wise, I think it looks fine. I didn't hear anything wrong. But an issue I had that I never heard anyone mention, and I'm going to go ahead and show it right now, is this is my second Naruto, actually. My first Naruto, and before I show this, I will say I take damn good care of my figures. This is what happened to my first Naruto, and as you guys can see, this is an atrocity. Like, this looks bad. I don't know how the heck this even happened, but like just over time this thing just scratched up, and you don't see it on this one, which means I took a whole lot better care of it, but this thing just started scratching up all over the place, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't know what happened, y'all, but like, this was the major problem for me. I hope none of you guys had to deal with this, but it's so bad that you could literally just scratch this black, and I'm not going to do it, and it'll get worse. So I just decided to put this one in the package and leave it alone. Now, leaving that Naruto there so that you guys can see the difference between the two of them, I'll go ahead and talk about Sasuke. Now, this one, I didn't have as many issues as other people did, simply because it's a little bit biased. Sasuke is, of course, my favorite anime character of all time and will forever be, just because of how much I love the character. A lot of people didn't like the head. They said it was too small, which I can see it, but at the same time, I can't. Because if you stand him back, I mean, it looks fine. His head fits right on his shoulders, and it doesn't look too small. But once you pop off the hairpiece, that's when you really see it. And, of course, the face wanted to come off as well. But, yeah, that's when you kind of see it a little bit. It does look a little small, but the face captures the character so much, it didn't really bother me. And everyone didn't really like the shoulder joints because it's the same as Naruto, or the fact that he couldn't move his legs very well. But, I mean, what could you expect with this skirt piece that he did wear all of Shippuden. It's not like they had any leeway around that one. So this isn't something that I complain about. I really like how they worked the sword in. I liked how they designed the costume. If I had to gripe, the only thing I will say is that his hair is definitely not as full as it's supposed to be at the back. That's not a major complaint, but I mean, if you pose him like this, looking down, his hair does not reach the length that it's supposed to. That would be my only complaint with this figure. And other than that, I've been enjoying it since the release. Like, I went through hell to get my hands on this guy after he released. I wanted it so bad, I bought it 3 times just to see which one would get here first. So, off of Sasuke, moving right on to the next batch. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, then I think these two were the next. I know for sure Kakashi was. And I'll go ahead and start with him. Kakashi was where everything started to go great. This figure, I have no complaints whatsoever, and I don't think anyone does. He comes with a decent amount of accessories, all the right accessories, one of the best looks, best designs they have done. The hair sculpt looks great, has a bit of shading in there. The costume design, he comes out with his Make Out Paradise book, or Make Out Tactics. I don't know which one this is. I think it's Paradise, but honestly, this figure, there's just not much to say. If you like Naruto and you don't have this figure, what are you doing, man? Like, this Kakashi is a must. Honestly, there have been arguments that Kakashi is the best in the line, and he's not my favorite, but I can see how. Moving on to Minato, I like this figure a lot more than I feel like most people do. And honestly, it's because the design looks great from head to toe. The only gripe I have is that he just looks a little too short. I feel like Minato should be not as tall as Kakashi, but like they should be able to look each other eye to eye. And as you can see, that's definitely not possible with this one. Now, if I would choose for them to do anything different, I wish they would have fixed this weird design right here. I don't like that at all, because if you take a picture of the figure from the side, you just see this right there, and that looks pretty crappy to me. And then of course, if you move the arm forward, it's not going to look like he's relaxed. So I don't like that. And this one isn't a gripe, it's just something I wish they would have done. I wish they would have gave him separate arms so that you could take the jacket off of him and just have him displayed with his Jonin jacket on. And I felt like if they would have done something like that, that would have made this figure the perfect figure. I know a lot of people were sleeping on this one, but honestly, I feel like it's a damn good figure. And if you guys don't have him, go grab him. Now, I decided to go with these two next because for the most part, they're working with just about the same design. And Rock Lee is one of those figures who I feel like if you enjoy Naruto and if you collect the figure line, he's one of those characters you just have to have, especially based off of the original series. I know he didn't really do much in Shippuden, but if you love Rock Lee, everyone that does love Rock Lee loves him from the original series, which completely justifies having this figure in your collection. And I remember, like I said, when the promo came out, the image for it, everyone was excited. I was excited to know that the line was going to continue, but this figure, everything about it is clean. He comes with the right amount of accessories. The paintwork is great. The sculpt is great. And overall, it's just a very decent figure. Could use a little bit more shading, but that's not something I would complain about. And as you guys can see, from head to toe, Rock Lee is a beautiful looking figure. I highly recommend him if you don't have him. Now, moving on to Gaara. To me, Gaara is a very meh figure. And the reason I say that is because I get more excitement out of him when I'm posing him with everyone else. And I feel like Gaara is a figure that was kind of slept on. Why, I'm not sure. But I do not see a lot of people posing Gaara. I never really did. And honestly, if I had any complaints with it, it would just be the fact that you can't get a lot of his signature like crouching sand poses because of this piece right here. Like, this is a very hard plastic, so if you try to pose him crouching, it's just gonna like cause him to stand back up a little bit, so you can get him just about like that. He does lack a little bit in the ankle articulation as well, so you can barely get any pivot out of it. But other than that, I mean, he looks nice. They did a little bit of shading on the gourd, which made it look a little bit better, especially if it was just this one piece of brown, it would suck. So I'm very glad that they did that. But other than that, not much shading other than the hair. And Yeah, he's a solid figure, but he's just not one that I get extremely fond of posing. Here's when the Naruto line started to kind of make its way back downhill. And not because the figures are bad by any means, but I think this is when people really started to sleep on the line with the release of these two. I'm going to start with Sasuke because he's my favorite character, and then I'll move on to Itachi. Now, starting with Sasuke, I think a lot of people just saw this as he wore that outfit for like 10 episodes. What's the point in having this? We already got a Sasuke. The Sasuke that we have comes with a much better outfit. And everything about that is true. But what a lot of people don't know is this Sasuke is a lot more clean than the original release. The hair sculpt is much more accurate, and the faces look even better. He comes with a normal Sharingan face that looks extremely awesome. He comes with this neutral expression, and then, of course, a nervous expression from when he's fighting Itachi. So, accessory-wise, I think this one does a whole lot better. I actually like this head on the old body much better because the hair sculpt is there. I just wish they came with like a separate accessory for the hair where you have his bangs down in the middle, and I would be complete. Like, I wish they would have given us a Rinnegan Sasuke, but I'm not going to complain with this. As many Sasukes as Tamashii Nations would have given, I would have bought 5 or 6 of them. So this one, I think, is just a very slept-on figure. A lot of people didn't really care for it much, and I didn't see a lot of photos of it when it came out. Now, Itachi, you guys already know if you have the Itachi figure. This jacket that I have on Itachi, I should not have had to purchase this separately. I should not. And I understand that they don't do cloth clothing and things like that. That's not something that I would have wanted them to do because it probably would have been pretty bad. But I feel like there's another way around them having made him with his jacket. Honestly, it would have been better if they had just made him without it, if they were going to include him with the Akatsuki jacket that he couldn't utilize whatsoever. Because you can only get one pose out of him with that jacket on. And if you can only get one pose out of him, that basically makes it a statue. So, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of ideas about how they could have done it, but I feel like there was something that could have been done to make this figure a lot better. Now, as far as posability goes, outside of the jacket, everything's great. I have no complaints with this figure outside of that, other than the fact that I wish his ponytail could actually swivel so you could pose it instead of just with him turning his head. But other than that, the facial expressions, the accessories, everything was great. Maybe they could have included a Black Hawk or something like that for when he uses his Tsukuyomi, or when he turns into, and I said Black Hawk, I meant Crow, but from when he uses those techniques. But other than that, man, this figure to me was great, especially with this jacket on it. But I feel like this is just another one that was slept on. People were like, it's not that great looking of a figure. I don't like the fact that I can't pose him with his robe. I don't want to pose him without it because he has it on 90% of the series. So that's just a dumb one for me. I'll wait and see if they release another version. And of course that never came to pass. So I think that's what kind of threw these two figures under the bus. Now this right here is one of the main reasons I think that things went south for this line. And it's because I have two versions of the same figure standing in front of me right now that there shouldn't be two versions of. This is what we got first. A Sage Mode Naruto with no Sage Mode jacket. But this body is built the same as this, but it comes with the jacket and a few more accessories such as the scroll, and honestly I think that's it. Now it does have a little bit better paint on the faces than this one. A little bit better paint on the hair. As you can see, this is like a brighter yellow. Some people might prefer this one. To me, it doesn't really matter. There shouldn't be two of these. Just for whatever reason. There's no reason whatsoever there should be two of this figure. And honestly, I think people looked at it like, you made a 2.0 Naruto body, but what do we need it for? You know, what do we need this figure for? This is what we should have gotten, especially seeing that you can take off all of these accessories and turn it into this. So if they would have just made this the first time, it would have saved them the initial failure release of this one, and we would have got exactly what we needed the first time, which probably would have caused more people to buy the figure instead of seeing this and saying, oh wow, that's the same exact figure we got with the same exact expressions. They didn't even include anything new other than the jacket and the scrolls. So it was like, this was a complete waste of time. We should have just got this first. This shouldn't exist. And that's just my take on that. Now I'm going to put Madara in a class of his own simply because I feel like this figure was Tamashii Nation's attempt at trying to revive a line that they knew was dying. The reason I say that is because if you already know that a line is dying and you need to make characters that are going to make people buy, why not release the most badass villain of the series? And in that regard, it was a smart idea. But the overall design of this figure is what I feel like caused it to fail. Because Madara has a lot of articulation, but you can barely use any of it outside of his arms. Simply because the hair is so thick, you can't really get his head to do anything. Of course, these pieces right here also hinder him from turning without popping off. And when I say these pop off, it is a pain. They pop off constantly. That's a major frustration. He has a diaphragm joint built in, as you guys can see, but with this piece right here of armor, you can't really get him to do anything. And so, like, this piece right here was basically worthless. There was no point in executing a diaphragm joint. The arms move fine. Everything about the arms is great. I have no complaints about that whatsoever. But from the head and middle section down, everything's useless. His legs move very well. He has great leg articulation. It's the drop down joint. But as you guys can see with this piece right here, this is a very hard plastic. So he can get into no poses and actually stay. So this figure, once again, is almost like having a statue. And this is going to be more of a nitpick on my part, being that I'm a Naruto fanboy and a Madara fanboy. I wish they would have created one version of him instead of trying to make two. And if you haven't seen the series, which I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't, but if you don't understand what I mean, you will in just a second. This face is from the 4th grade Shinobi War arc. They tried to capture his sinister grin when he found out Hashirama was back alive. Cool, I'm fine with that. You did a reanimated face for Madara, great. But these feet match when he was alive during the time that Hashirama was alive. Now what I mean by that, this is Madara before he actually died. And the toes look so bad, they should have just put him in the closed sandals that he wears in the 4th grade Shinobi War. That would have killed this horrible feet idea that they came up with. And I know that's a personal nitpick, but I don't like it. Honestly, they should have just given him a few reanimated expressions, put him in the closed sandals, and then, I don't know, for SDCC, released a Madara Alive version, which would have made a lot more sense to me. And hopefully, with the release of a second one, they probably could have made the articulation a little bit better. So in terms of this figure, looks great, but everything else just doesn't work. And once again, this was a drawback to the line. I think it's kind of ironic that I'm doing these two right now simply because if you do watch Boruto, you know we're in an arc where Jiraiya is actually getting to meet Boruto. Phenomenal arc, by the way. Go watch it if you're not. But this was their last attempt to keep the line alive, and once again it failed. The sad part is both of these figures were executed damn near perfectly. I have no complaints with the figures themselves whatsoever, especially Jiraiya. Jiraiya, I think, was just a very slept-on figure. He was a little bit more expensive than what people were willing to pay, and maybe they didn't see the value of having it in their collection. Why, I don't know, because Jiraiya, to me, having Jiraiya in your collection is the same as having an All Might to go with your Deku, or a Whis to go with your Goku and Vegeta right now, or maybe Master Roshi, I don't know, it depends on which master you like more. But Jiraiya is an absolute flawless figure. Comes with a perfect amount of accessories, perfect articulation. You can do whatever you want to do with this figure, and it captures the character right out of the series. The only thing I would wish that they did different with this figure was maybe included a couple of Sage Mode faces. That's it. And maybe the two the frogs that he came with. That is it. This figure, other than that, is 1,000% perfect. And I feel sorry for the people who slept on it. I don't know what the price is now, but guys, go get this figure, man. If you like Naruto, go get this figure. Now, lastly, on to Boruto. Boruto is where this line took a major nosedive into the Grand Canyon and landed face first. Reason I say that is because they released this figure at the wrong time. I think they were trying to go off the hype of the Boruto movie, which, cool, maybe that sounded like a smart idea, but nobody was rocking with Boruto. Nobody, even still, nobody really cares about Boruto. Boruto will never receive the love that Naruto, the original series, or Naruto Shippuden received, no matter what. There might be arcs that are great by the time that the series is over. The ending may be phenomenal, and I really hope that it is, but Boruto will never receive the same love as Naruto. It's basically Naruto GT with different characters, and no one really cared for GT like that. And shout out to you if you do, but I'm sorry, most people don't. So that's where I think this was the biggest failure. This figure, they should have kept this. They should have just given us Sakura so that we could have completed the Trinity and ended it there, if they were going to end it. But honestly, I feel like Sakura might would have boosted the line a bit more, because the people who were already invested and had Naruto and Sakura, or Naruto and Sasuke, would have bought Sakura, because then we would have had the complete Team 7, and then maybe they could have moved on to some more important characters like Orochimaru, Pain, Tsunade, just other people that we really would have been a lot happier with. Yamato, there's so many characters. A Shikamaru, still can't believe we don't have Shikamaru. Neji, Sai, this line could have gone on a whole lot longer than it did, and it's really frustrating as a Naruto fan, but I hate I had to see it die like this. I wish it didn't happen. Hopefully one day they will try to pick it back up, or some other company will pick up Naruto figures. Demonical Fit, what are you guys waiting on? Go ahead and drop some of that stuff you've been showing us, because it really sucks. Like, just talking about it, I hate the fact that this line is gone, and I don't think a lot of people understand being a big fan of Naruto and just watching your favorite line die. But anyway, I'm not going to harp on that. I just wanted to get this video out, and I hope that you guys can agree with most of what I said. If not, go ahead and drop your comments below. I want to know how you guys feel about the death of this line. Let me know what you think could have been done better, and also let me know what characters you would have liked to have seen. Personally, I just wish I could have got a Rinnegan Sasuke, man. If I would have got that, then I'm good. And of course, Sakura to go with it. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more content. Follow me on everything you see listed in the description below. And as always, I will talk to you guys later. Peace.